Welcome back, Scotch Gamers, from our impromptu, 2-week break or so. Apologise, but we're back. Sunday, 3rd of February 2013, and this is Scotch Gaming. Today we have quite a slew of hosts with us. We've got one new one and some old favourites. We'll go through the old favourites first before we introduce our new host. First off, we have Liam. How you been, mate? Give us an explanation of what you've been doing.
Been good. I've been fucking playing a ton of games and working motherfucker and getting drunk every day. So the usual.
Quite good. Nick, how have you been, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Been a while. Been working on Game Guy as per usual. Selling video games at the shop and making a game in my spare time. It's been pretty
That's
cool.
right. I have had a little sneak peek of it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything, but it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, hopefully
I heard
it's pretty
it.
retro, so hopefully we'll have some more news on that soon.
Excellent.
I heard it
Looking
was
forward to
shit.
You're an idiot, Liam. No one listens to what you say. Alright, and we've got a token American back with us again this week. Probably going to be drunk by the end of the show again. Might be falling asleep, who knows. What he gets up to.
No way.
He's crazy, doesn't give a fuck. What you been up to, mate?
You know, mate, so recently my friend Krazak bought a Minecraft server, you know, been playing that a lot, just raiding World of Warcraft, buying furniture for my house, appliances. Life's going pretty well. Went out to a bonfire last night, but the cops came. That was kind of lame. I had a conversation with them. I was pretty drunk, and I was just like, what's the problem, guys? They're like, well, we've had some reports of underage drinking. It seems like someone you invited called the police. So I was just like, okay, whatever. They're like, CHP's that way. They're picking people off, so yeah, it's time for you guys to go. And then the fire department came and put the bonfire out. It was pretty hilarious.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. That was good.
Last night, but yeah,
and
everything's going pretty great.
And me, I've had no internet for the last 6 days or something. I don't know if you guys know, but we had big floods in Queensland. My internet went out. I raged a lot. That's why we didn't have the podcast last week. But came back earlier than expected. Not too bad. So we're here again. With us today, we've got a new host. He has got a new computer, so he is now finally able to join us on the air. He's got new internet. It is Jesse Fowler, aka Volcan. Tell the guys a bit about you, what you're drinking, what you're into. Tell them about you.
Hi guys, I've known these guys for quite a while now, and I do listen to the show quite regularly. I've always been in the games and stuff, and I played a lot of WoW. I was in a really high rating guild, and I moved house, so I never had internet, and so a couple of weeks back I decided to go out and spend $5,000 on a computer and a new internet package, so I can actually kind of hop on with you guys now. Yep. I'm drinking Johnny Walker Explorers Club. You're going to get duty free from airports only, so yeah, it's pretty nice. Yep.
Excellent. Welcome to the show, and looking forward to hear what you have to say about the topics for this week.
Yes.
So we'll get straight into it, I guess. Have a bit of news to talk about this week. We'll get right into it with Cyberpunk 2077. We found out it's going to be running on a new engine that they're creating. What they're basically saying that this engine will be able to do is, well, you have your games like Skyrim, right, where story, not so much, but open world, crazy, good, explorable. Then you have these linear story games, amazing story, but you can't really go explore it that much. What they're saying with this engine is that it'll give you the best of both worlds. You'll have a crazy open world with the amount of story you have in a more linear game. What do you guys have to what do you guys think about that?
I think that's the aim of like every game developer, isn't it? It's a big ask, but if anybody could deliver it, I reckon these guys might actually have a good shot. If I'm not mistaken, these are the guys who did Witcher 2.
Yeah. Well, they already half went there with Witcher 2,
Yeah.
right? Like that that had amazing graphics. The world wasn't like really open world, but it was fairly open world-ish, and it had amazing
feel
story.
linear.
Good.
So I don't know. I think they could accomplish it. I can't imagine like what type of graphics card or what you have to do to run this, but looks pretty good. Apparently it's called, if I'm reading right here, it's called Red Engine 2. Its internal name.
I'm not 100 sure. So far is Cyberpunk only slated for PC?
I'm not sure. No, it's a PS4, I think, as well. Oh no.
Yeah, because I was gonna say it looks like it'd have to be next gen if it was going to be console at all from the looks of it.
I'd say it's next gen for sure. But I'm pretty excited that the new engine. I'm glad they're not doing it on the old engine for sure.
Yeah.
Well, so what I've read about the new engine that they're making, apparently it actually almost ran them out of business because I had a lot of problems with the actual piracy with The Witcher 2. So hopefully they don't actually make a massive mistake with this new game and like destroy the DRM. So we'll see how we go with that.
I thought they sold I thought they did have a lot of pirated copies, but I thought they actually made a lot of money from it as well.
Yeah, well, they actually kind of revolutionized the way they did it. Well, they actually said, we're going to remove the DRM and we're going to sell it at a reduced price, and people actually went out and bought it on the Steam deals, and a lot of people just went out and bought it. It was really strange how it happened, but yeah, kudos to them. They're a really good game. They make really good games. Like, I've never played a bad game by them.
I think props to them for doing that. They just prove that gamers are willing to pay reasonable price for a game if it's a decent game. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of piracy out there and stuff, but is it because that we're being overcharged for rubbish?
They're always being overcharged for rubbish. They always charge us for like shit games. Just they have to fund the game somehow, so they pump out these games after games after games that are shit. But if you have a good game and charge a good price, like look at Torchlight 2 or something like that. Amazing game, yeah. $20. Diablo 3.
I thought it was $20.
Yeah, $20. $20. That's what I said.
Yeah, no. $20. For $20, an amazing game.
Yeah, and moddable. You can do anything you want to it. So you give the mod community something to do. That's one thing I think that a lot of gaming companies need to get their heads around, is that modding extends your game. It helps your game so much, and if you can let modders do stuff to your game, you're gonna be better for it.
Well, I mean, mate, look at World of Warcraft. And then
look how
Star Wars. Star Wars was a great MMO. Like, it was definitely a fun game, and they could have developed more endgame. But if they had the ability for people to develop mod sport, I have the feeling that the game would have gone further than it did.
Completely agree. That's one thing. I followed the game a lot when it was going. I followed it for 2 years or something before
You loved
it came
Star Wars,
out.
man. You were all about it.
Yeah, one thing that I said is that I couldn't believe they weren't letting mods be available. It was the
You know what
weirdest
they
thing.
did?
I didn't understand.
They tried to develop their own system to customize your UI, but their system was shit because you can't expect, a game producer at this point in time to develop an amazing system for an MMO and then produce an amazing game as well. It has to be one or the other. You have to leave something for independent people to develop what they want and what other people will want. You can't please everyone with one thing, and that's what they tried to do.
Exactly. We're getting a little bit far away from a new engine into Star Wars talk, but I like it. I'm excited for the new engine. I'm always looking forward to new technological innovations. So that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
Well, another thing is, we're going to have to see how the architecture on the actual PS4 is going to be, if they're going to put it on there, because when the PS3 first came out, because I had the cell processor, apparently it was a nightmare to actually program for, because I had to actually spread the code over 8 different CPUs, and physical and non-physical, so we'll just see how that turns out. So
we will find out on February 20th.
The dev kits have been out for a while. They've been running with the codename Orbis and Durango, and word is to people who've been using those dev kits, apparently they're very not user friendly. It's a word, I don't know, programming friendly. Apparently, they're really easy to program for. So obviously they've learned a bit of a lesson from the last time around when they caused everybody so much grief.
Well, this sort of leads us on to our next topic anyway. Sony has announced that they're going to announce information about the new PlayStation 4 on February 20th, apparently. It's a bit of a weird having announcements these days, instead of just coming out.
A lot.
I guess they're trying to hype up media attention, so when the announcement actually happens.
As soon as Twitter came out, that kind of shit started developing. We're gonna announce our announcement on Twitter first.
But so what you're going back to what you were saying, Nick, this sort of leads into it. Is yes, with the PlayStation 3, it was a nightmare to develop for at the start, and that's one of the reasons the Xbox 360 actually came out on top, because developers was a much easier time developing for the 360. Now they've figured out the PS3, but And at the start, they had no clue.
Yeah, that and the fact that they had a year head start, which I think it's pretty interesting that Sony's jumping out of the gate first.
Again, right? It doesn't seem like the smartest decision.
Yeah, I always
But-
liked the fact that they sat back and thought, you know what, we're gonna see what they're doing and then do it better. Which I've always been a Sony fan over Xbox, but I want to start a huge debate about that. But I think the Sony machine is like a superior machine in terms of technology and stuff.
Power-wise, it is.
Yeah, but yeah, the fact they're coming out the gate first, interesting.
Well,
Yeah, Xbox is going to do that.
Well, Wii U was next gen apparently,
Yeah,
but so
That is not.
Not really.
It's catching up to current gen. That's what the Wii. I wasn't excited about the Wii U. I mean, February 20. I'm excited. I'm thinking about February 20 because to me, this is the first real glimpse at next gen consoles.
well,
And I think a lot of people out there are feeling the same way.
yeah. Well, I think about Nintendo because about the Wii U, it was so popular because it was very family friendly. Well, I think that they just strive to innovate like new ways of playing games. So hopefully on their next console, they'll use the technology they with the Wii U with actually new hardware that's a lot better and can actually compare to the new consoles.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, by the time the PS5 comes out, I'm sure they'll come out with something that's decent.
well, the only thing
No.
I'm really
See,
actually
the
excited
problem
about
is,
this.
though,
So
the
you
problem
go, Chris.
is that the Wii U is already out. Now we're going to have PS4 and the new Xbox that's going to come out. Wii U is not a competition for that. Wii U is a competition for the current gen consoles. So by the time that the Wii or Nintendo develops a new console, we're going to be so far into the progression of PS4 and all these consoles that their next Nintendo console is probably only going to compete with PS4 and the new Xbox. We need
Hey,
to
guys.
change their timing by a lot and then develop something completely different than what they've been going at.
Can
Sure,
I
it's a
can I
family
make a
console,
prediction?
What's the
Can
prediction?
I want to go on record as making a prediction. Last home console, Nintendo.
Oh, I don't
Last
know.
what?
They have a huge bank, man. Like Nintendo has a bank. They are such
Yeah.
a rich company. I
Well,
can't see them.
They rule the handheld market without a doubt. I will not argue that fact. They're the king of handhelds, but I reckon they really botched this one.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to see.
Well, I don't think they're too concerned with it. I think, like you said, they've ruled the handheld, department. But at this point, they should be concerned with all the handhelds that are coming out. Like, there's been a lot of development into handhelds recently. So I think that
Especially,
they should be raising some concern about it
But-
at this point.
Think about it. Like when you think of a handheld, what do you think of? You think of Game Boy. You don't.
I think of Game Boy. Yeah, exactly. Everyone does.
Same.
And the problem is with that though is because handhelds are coming so bigger now because you've got the Android handhelds coming out. Like Nvidia are actually making one now, which is a bit crazy. Everyone was thought they were going to announce their next line of graphics cards, but no, they were focusing all their power on their tablets and the new handheld. So maybe Android will be the thing that will beat all the handhelds. You never know.
I think what it's going to depend on is it's going to step up to, Nvidia is going to have to develop graphics cards as soon as AMD, whatever the fuck, sorry. And the other competitors, release a new graphics card.
Well,
And
yeah.
the new architecture, which right now they haven't. It's really slow because the 680s are so fucking fantastic that there's no competition for them.
I'm gonna get a 680. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I have two 680s, and I got to say they are incredible.
I mean, you can run the top end games on the market, Far Cry 3, on the absolute best graphics on one 680. So it's really hard right now for any competitors to step up to that because there's no other card on the market that can really compete. And
Especially,
go ahead.
especially now that was actually announced a couple of weeks back that Intel and Nvidia are working together now. So,
Well, I've always kind of considered them to be,
on
two
the same
companies
level.
separate from AMD and whatever the fuck. I don't remember what the other company's
ATI,
called for
is
some
it?
reason. ATI, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not ATI. That's their.
Oh, sorry. I can't remember. So yeah.
Neither can I. I hate the cards so much.
Yeah, they run so hot.
Nick's just like, what is all this computer talk going on? I
Oh,
understand
yeah,
nothing.
sorry. I'm like, yeah, you're talking another language to me, man, all consoles. So I'm just looking at some stuff. It's all good. Carry on.
Well, I think
It might be ATI. I'll look it up one second.
I think
Yeah,
the
it's ATI, I'm
reason
pretty sure.
I am actually looking forward to the PS4 news so much is not everyone knows I don't like consoles that much. I don't really play them. I don't really care. What I'm excited about is when we get to the next generation, of games for the consoles. Like computer games could be so much better than they are right now. Like graphics wise, you could do so much more than you do, but they don't because they have to do ports pretty much for most consoles. Every single PC game is generally going to be on a console at the same time, so you can't have something too crazy, otherwise you won't be able to run it on a console.
Well, it's like PC's constantly pushing us forward, but they're being held back by console.
Exactly.
Well, so we could be so far further ahead if there was no console, is what you're saying.
Well, I think.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. I think that consoles have actually poured so much money into the games industry that it's actually doing a good thing. But
well, there's that
exactly
too.
what Jesse said. Yeah, and the thing is, how much further do we want to go so fast?
Yeah.
Honestly, for the industry, it's better to progress slowly to make more money to progress in more ways slowly. And slowly progress, but putting the most money into one thing, making money off that, moving to the next thing, continuing like that, rather than going for broke at one point in time and going for the absolute fucking mega, like, can't top this shit, best shit you can do. So it's better the rate that we're progressing in, and that consoles are kind of holding us back at this point, I guess you could say. But I mean, console gaming takes up more than probably 70% of gaming in general.
Exactly.
Probably a higher number than that. That's like a a number that I just made up. I have no idea.
Well,
But console gaming is providing a majority of game income right now, like for all the developers, because there's a lot more people to play them, and there's a lot more people that can afford them. You buy a console for $300, $400, and you go to buy a game for $60, and that's it. You don't have to fucking spend $2,000 on a computer to play the game on Ultra.
Okay.
So.
Well, also speaking about the PS4, well, the actual specs allegedly got leaked. I have a list here, and I could actually go through them if you like.
Yeah,
I
for
can
sure.
explain. Well, it's got an 8-core CPU running at 1.6 gigahertz per core, which is actually it's not too bad. Like, cause actually with consoles, it's more about how much power processing it can actually handle. Because with a PC, you got the motherboard, you got all that, and everything's separate. Well, on these, everything's built onto the motherboard, so it's going to be very powerful. And with the GPU, they've actually changed a lot, because with the PS3, they were using a graphics card called the RSX, which is based off NVIDIA. Now they've gone with AMD, which it's actually very powerful by the looks of it. It runs DirectX 11 quite easily, so that's saying something.
Wait, hold on. You saying PS4 is using AMD now?
Yep, their graphics card is AMD, yep, and their CPU was made by, I can't remember the name actually, yeah, it's a big company, but, yeah. But yeah, it's running...
competitor to Intel.
Yeah.
I don't remember their name either, I can't fucking remember for some
it
reason.
starts with I can't remember, but IMB I think it is, yeah, IMB. Is it? IBM?
Yeah,
IBM?
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, so it's actually gone to AMD, which is, it's actually based off a graphics card in a computer called Southern Islands architecture, which is very interesting. So it's got 4 GB of DDR3 RAM. Well, considering the PS3 had like less than only had 256 megabytes. So you put it that way, it's a lot more powerful.
That's huge.
Yeah, and it's
What RAM are they running?
Yeah.
Are they running DDR3, DDR5? Like, what are they running?
Graphics card, DDR5, and it's running...
Well, yeah, I've seen the graphics and all that, but...
it's shared 800 megahertz for a graphics card, which is quite powerful for a console.
Yeah, that is.
Yep. But with the memory in the PS4, it's actually got 3.5 gigabyte available just to games, not the operating system, so that's quite large. With the storage, it comes with 500 gigabyte stock, but there's actually a slot in it that you can put an SSD, which will boost power quite hugely. I put an SSD in my computer, and I boot my computer or run games like instantly. I click my finger, and and it just loads up. It's incredible.
Well, yeah, SSDs are extremely fast.
Yeah,
That's
so
amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I've been wondering for a long time why consoles haven't done that. Had the ability to upgrade them in a sense by having slots and things.
Yeah.
I'm really concerned with Sony's approach right now. Right now, where they're releasing their console using the graphics card they're using is probably the absolute worst time. We've had 680s out for a while. We've had AMD's cards out for a while. We're right on the verge. I guess supposedly NVIDIA's cards are going to be coming out next, like October, November. I've heard from someone that I won't mention. Maybe even prior to that. So, it would probably be smarter for them to wait for the next gen of graphics cards to develop something based off that, which I have a feeling the Xbox might be, or Microsoft.
But the
might
problem
be
with that
facing.
is, Chris, is they're not just based on the best like the best graphics cards and stuff. They're also based like on market reasons and when they want to release consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you
however,
can only
right
wait,
now...
you can only wait so long. Like, I mean, there's always going to be something awesome on the horizon. Yet at some point, you've just got to pull the trigger and, you know, like release
Okay,
this
but
thing.
wait, there's always going to be something awesome on the horizon, but do you want to, you know, develop something at the beginning of that awesome thing on the horizon, or do you want to develop it at the end? And right now, we're at the cusp of the beginning, and they should really be developing something based off the beginning of it, not the end of it. Right now, they're basing it off the end. I mean, like, we're at the end of a cycle of developed graphics card, you know, capabilities. You know, with the 680s and the AMD cards, like, it's at the end of everything.
I mean, you're right. Microsoft could potentially get an advantage on this one. I mean, question is too. I'm really keen to see from Microsoft what they're going to do in terms of releasing a better quality disc. I mean, they're running off the standard DVD for how long? Because Sony's basically got the Blu-ray market cornered. I mean, are they going to come up with a HD disc, or what's the deal? Sony ever going to allow them to actually use Blu-rays? Like,
that's interesting.
I mean, there's that too. Like, I think it's kind of silly when I see a game come out on both formats and like it's 4 discs on 360 and 1 on PS3. Like, I find that hilarious.
LA Noire.
Yeah, so I was totally thinking of LA Noire too. But yeah, I mean, stuff like that to me is like we should be way beyond the whole please insert disc 2 crap. Like, I wonder what Microsoft's answer is going to be to that. Well, yeah.
That is really
interesting.
I actually could see PS4 going the digital route and not so much the Xbox going. Because the thing is, Xbox has such close ties with all the retailers. They're really like hand in hand. They GameStop.
Yeah.
We
all
might
those
as well
guys.
refer to them as Microsoft. I mean,
Yeah, Microsoft. Whereas like Sony, not so much. They don't really care as much about the retailers. I don't think. They don't have as many relationships with them like Xbox
It's
does.
a cultural thing too. Because Microsoft's American, right? And Sony or PlayStation is Japanese. So I mean, in American sense, like obviously they have to like really think about the retailers and big business with the Japanese are just sort of about pushing it forward. They were the one that gave us the PS Go. They've been trying to move into the digital scene for ages. If they can cut out the middleman, I'm sure they will. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do.
Alright, so we go around. One thing, if you could wish was one thing with the PlayStation 4, what would it be? We'll just go around. We'll start off with Nick. One thing you wish for.
I hate these on-the-spot questions.
I always do them though, to put you on the spot, mate.
Oh, mate. If I could wish for one thing, I hope it has a lens that sucks me into the screen and gives me full immersion in the game. What the hell? We'll make wishes.
I like
Sure,
it.
why not?
Chris,
you know what? It's a good thing you mentioned that, because what do they have that's going to compete with Kinect? Although Kinect hasn't exactly been that great, what are they going to develop that's really going to be like a
PlayStation Move?
I got news on that. Sony is basically calling it quits on the whole Move thing. They've realised it's a complete and utter bust. Their next big thing, apparently, is some kind of glasses. Special glasses.
That's the
3D
wrong
glasses.
route, mate. That's where
I
Sony's
know.
going wrong. No one wants to fucking
Yeah.
wear glasses to play games. That's a problem.
I guess
I
it
don't
depends
really think
what
it's
it's going to
Sony.
add. Like, it can't be just 3D, because 3D glasses have been out for like how long? I guess it all depends on what these glasses do exactly, but yeah, I don't know, I'm over the whole peripheral
The problem
thing.
with like virtual reality, like glasses type of thing, is latency. There's a certain latency you get when you communicate from like devices, and it's actually noticeable if you try to move with your head. So that's a problem that they really need to figure out before they move into that area, like latency wise. It's only
Yeah,
Isn't
a
that
couple
what this
it's,
software is?
it's only a couple
They called it quits
milliseconds.
on the market.
Yeah. Alright, Chris, what's your wish? Give it to me straight, man.
My wish is that Sony would just fucking die and never come back. Okay, thanks. No, I'm just kidding. I really hope that they develop a pretty good console so that, Microsoft realizes that they have a huge game to step up and really compete with them, because, me, I play Xbox, I don't play PlayStation. That's just who I am. It's mostly because I grew up
I don't
playing
hate you for
Halo.
it.
I didn't grow up playing Halo, but when I was, in school a while ago, I'd play Halo with my friends, and that's like we would LAN playing Halo and shit. And so I, grew up kind of playing Xbox instead of PlayStation. Although when I was much, much younger, I played PlayStation much more. I still like Xbox a lot at this point. And I really hope that Microsoft develops a better console than them. So I'm hoping that Sony right now develop something that's good, but it's not the best, and that Microsoft has, you know, a good opportunity to really compete
You just
with
want it
Sony.
to keep on going. Keep
I
on going
want
like
the
it
cycle to
is.
continue. Exactly, and I want Sony to develop something that Microsoft really has to develop an amazing console to compete with. Because I feel like, you know, Microsoft has a lot of opportunities at this point, and I really hope that Microsoft uses NVIDIA, and I really hope that they wait for the new NVIDIA cards, which I kind of feel like Microsoft is almost playing this one smart and waiting for the new architecture of graphics cards. Kind of what it looks like to me at this point.
Alright,
I feel like that's the right move for a new console at this point.
alright, sounds good. Jesse, lay it on me.
I actually hope that the PS4 can support 4K TVs because it's the new big incoming thing, and on the actual specs list, it actually only says 1080p and not 4K. So
4K. See, the thing with 4Ks though, I feel like they're still quite a way off. Like, obviously they're not even making them to buy yet, and when
Well,
they do release them, it's gonna be like what 20-30,000 to buy a TV.
well, no, they've actually like Samsung and LG have made theirs. One of them's they took it to CES actually, and it was going to be for $7,000. It's still expensive, but when LCDs first come out, they were also very expensive if you really think about it. But and also I think that with their graphics card, as Chris was saying before, the PS3 was off a old NVIDIA graphics card called a 7800 GT, and that was based off that. So we'll have to see how we go, because there is a couple games on the PS3 that does lag, and like you can't get away from it. And like Skyrim had a massive problem when it first came out because the actual CPU graphics couldn't actually handle the game correctly, so they had to actually dumb it down a little bit. So we'll see how we go with 4K.
Alright. Alright, so we're going to move on to the next topic. We spent quite a while on that one. I liked it. One for you, Nick, I think. Resident Evil, they're saying it may get a reboot. Do you think it's time for a reboot on Resident Evil?
Yeah, long overdue, mate. Long overdue. It's getting pretty bloody convoluted and complicated, the old Resident Evil story. And I mean, coming off the back of DMV, another like humongous, you know, Japanese title, did such a fantastic job on that I'd actually be really hopeful to see a Resident Evil reboot.
What would you like from a
I'm
reboot?
kind of over. I'm getting
think?
progressively like less interested in Resident Evil with each successive sequel. But yeah, I think probably a reboot might rejuvenate it a little bit.
How do you feel about the newest Resident Evil game?
Number 6.
We hated it, didn't we? Everyone hated it.
I didn't like it much.
Yeah, actually,
Everyone hated it, man. It was one of the worst games of this year.
Yeah, the last episode of last year, I think I had it slated to talk about as my worst game before we had some technical difficulties. But yeah, that was probably the game I was most excited about that let me down the most.
Exactly, it was one of the most anticipated games. But it turned out to be terrible.
Because
and
the
you know what? The game looked absolutely great. The game looked
fantastic.
amazing. I wanted the game.
The cinematics were amazing, but you know what? It should have just make a movie out of it then. Don't make a game, because
well, don't say that.
They were clunky as hell.
Oh, they've made so many movies already, man. I mean,
oh yeah, they're good.
Yeah, CGI Resident Evil movies are good.
Let's not talk about those horrible fucking shitty ones.
What are you still
Mila Jovovich can go fuck herself.
Oh yeah.
Oh, better yet, I'll do it. I'll do it.
But she's hot.
no, I'm just kidding.
You'll help with it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'll help with that.
but no, I think like what we saw with Devil May Cry, we're gonna talk about it later. But reboots can really work to rejuvenize a franchise. Resident Evil, I think definitely is the need for one. What do you think they should change about it if they did a reboot? What do you think? Yeah, what do you think they could add?
Okay, my big qualm with current Resident Evil games, they've really steered away from what made them great back in the day, which was there was a lot of exploration and puzzle solving back in the day. Do you know what I mean? Like, you actually have to think there really like eerie element about walking around a mansion or you know, Raccoon City and having to solve these little puzzles to open up different areas and continue on. They just became your basic just shoot your way from point A to B. Yeah, they became action games. There was no like depth to them whatsoever. They just walked you from one cutscene to another. It lost all of that I don't know, the intellectual side, I guess. Like, I really enjoyed that about Resident Evil. Yeah, it was scary, but you also had to think your way through some problems. You know what I mean? So I just wish they would go back to that. They
The new-
reboot it. They
Hey, think back to like, remember the original Prince of Persia games on Xbox and PlayStation?
The Sands of Time and stuff.
What are we talking about?
Yeah,
oh
like
yeah,
the
one-
very,
yeah,
the
we could
very
rewind
first
time.
ones. And do you
Yeah.
remember how you had to like find the secret rooms and like, you know, find like these little random shortcuts that were like agility courses to really get extra health globes and sand globes and
Yeah.
stuff like that? Like, it's the exact same thing with that. The game used to be very difficult to play. Prince of Persia was like, fuck man, if I'm gonna be good at this game, like, you know, I have to either read a fucking guide to like find what I need to find, or I need to really, really be smart about looking for stuff. It was like one or
Hey,
the other.
If you thought that was
And-
bad, the original. Did you ever play the original Persia on PC?
No, I don't
Like,
Oh, I know
Yeah.
about that.
Okay, there's no saves. You have 1 hour to complete the game, and you can't screw up. It
Yeah.
was amazing. You know how much I played that when I was into? I loved that. And you
What
would
I'm trying
do
to
it.
say-
You could restart from the start, and you would go all the way through that game many times. We have save points every 2 seconds these days, and if you know,
Games are a
And
lot
if we
shorter
die-
back then, though. You got like most games of that that were like that were a lot shorter. I remember Captain Planet I used to play when I was a kid. It was super hard, and when you run out of lives, it's done. You have to do it all again. But like you could learn each part, and if you did the whole thing, it would only take you like 2 hours maybe to do the whole thing. If you learnt
yeah.
it, like
well, same with Prince of Persia. I mean, it could be finished in 1 hour. Like it
Yeah.
has a time limit because it could be finished
Yeah.
in 1 hour.
Anyway, I'm just trying to give an example of like a game that also, you know, definitely toned down the intellectual part of the game and like everything about the game. Made it much easier.
Well, one game series that has copied Resident Evil and is basically like the old Resident Evil games is just Dead Space now. Dead Space has copied everything that the original Resident Evils did, and it's succeeding in every way possible.
Kurt, I
When you
found
think
9
about it-
more diamonds, by the way,
Oh,
in the
yeah.
last,
When
in the
you
last
think
20
about it,
minutes.
in Dead Space, it's got the horror element, it's the exploration element, it's got the thinking element, like backtrack
Yeah.
and think. Then you've got the puzzles with the stasis and jumping and everything. It's a puzzle game as well, and it's succeeding where Resident Evil should be as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
that's probably a pretty fair call.
That's
Kurt,
what they need to do. They
that's,
just need to go back to the horror,
Oh.
because Resident Evil's not even scary now.
Yeah, it's almost laughable. Like, you know what? Zombies with guns. What the fuck is that? Like, seriously.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'll
that's true.
Call of Duty if I want to be shot at. You know what I mean? Like, I want zombies to be stupid, like stumbling towards me trying to bite me. That's scary.
and a lot of them.
Guns,
You
they
want a
may
lot
be
of
tricking
them.
people.
You
Yeah,
remember the
zombies.
original,
Exactly.
like, made the first Resident Evil movie that came out? That was such a fucking good movie.
Oh,
And
Yeah, it was pretty good.
they had so much potential with what they had in that franchise to develop amazing fucking games, but they didn't do it. End of story. Like, I think we can probably
Alright,
move on.
so move on.
I
Alright,
also,
Jesse.
just one thing, I also think that the game, because when it first came out in Japan, it was actually a different name. I think it was called like Biohazard or something. But,
Yeah, it's
Oh, it
still
still is
called
called
Biohazard.
Biohazard.
yeah, well, I think it's become really westernized, if you know what I mean. Because like the Japanese games are so different compared to like American games.
Okay,
let's
yeah.
say. And I think that like they know they're going to sell more for like 13-year-old kids who play Call of Duty. If you're just it's just going to be more shooting. You know what I mean?
Well, it's
Like,
America's fault.
no, it's not America's
Blame
fault. It's
America.
Yeah.
Blame America.
Damn it,
man.
Chris.
Fuck yeah, blame America. I like it.
I think it's
I'm
more
serious.
to do with just like the evolution of gaming these days. Because kids play like you go on Xbox Live, you're playing with 14-year-olds now. Like
Wait,
Well,
you know
that's why
what
I
you just
play
said?
Xbox.
Dusty, you just said the key. We're playing with kids these days, alright?
yeah,
And the kids, you know what they fucking want? They want it easy. Every fucking child and kid, young person that plays games, sure, it's great. They're playing games and they're young. Like, no problem with that. But they want it fucking easy. No one wants a challenge. You know why?
exactly right. That's why you play Call of Duty these days. Even like the single player, you take like 14 shots before you die. Like,
I mean,
it's
I don't want
ridiculous.
to blame America because, sure, America's a cool country, and I'm sure other countries have the same fucking problem with
We do
everyone
here,
just
mate,
wanting
don't worry.
shit easy, mate. Like, it's not just the U.S., but everyone that I know here just wants everything easy. Everyone
Yep.
wants no fucking challenge. They'd rather play a game you can walk through. Why do you think guides are developed? Why do you think guides make so much money? Because
There should
everyone
be
just
a
buys
rule.
the fucking guide and plays the game with the guide. Instead, but the problem is that, oh shit. Sorry. Something happened on my mind in Minecraft. Anyway. The problem with these fucking games is that there's so many guides developed, and now instead of people buying the guides, the game developers are just saying, well, let's just make the games easier. End of story.
Yeah.
Now, what really should go on is people should be still playing hard games, and if they really want the game to be easy, still buying a Brady game guide. You know, like, what's the problem with that?
Would that be better?
Read a guide, figure out what the fuck you have to do by reading off someone offline. Don't fucking make the game easier for everyone else.
Do you know what would be better? If, like, people under the age of 17 don't play fucking hard games, like games that adults should be playing. Like, it's just like any kid now can go out and buy, like, I'm not saying it's wrong, like, it is, but like any kid, like even 11-year-olds, like I go into Nick's work, EB Games, and I see like parents get 9-year-old Call of Duty. It's ridiculous. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
Every
what,
kid.
Well, mate, but even
I
then, like,
remember
it's
when-
not a
when
problem.
finishing
Like,
a
that's gonna
game-
happen.
I remember when finishing a game, if not when. You remember
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
finishing a game was a hard thing to do? And there was a
Yeah.
lot of games you didn't finish back then, but when you did finish one,
It felt like
was
an
amazing.
accomplishment, man. It was like,
Yeah,
fuck
exactly.
yeah. And now it's just like, oh, gotta finish this game. Like, I just gotta finish it, man, so I can feel completed.
it's just a matter of time. Finish it. That's it.
Exactly.
Everybody's
no-
been
man.
made to play Dark Souls before they play Call of Duty. Then they've felt fucking pain.
No, fuck Dark Souls. Everyone used to play Dragon's Dogma.
Well,
Oh,
I
heard
that's
them
a
play
great
that.
game as well.
That
That's
was a very
harder
underrated game, I heard. Yeah, I really want to play that.
Yeah,
Dragon's Dogma is a
It was really
very
good.
underrated game, and it's actually extremely difficult.
very hard.
Yeah, harder than Dark Souls, I'll say that.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. It's
Hey,
still
wake
pretty
up.
hard.
I would go that far, mate. Come on, Dragon's
Yeah,
Dogma, that
you
is a
fucking
harder
idiot.
game
Yeah,
than
I
Dark
think it's pretty
Souls.
hard, man.
Dragon's Dogma took way more effort to
I don't know. I
get
finished
anywhere in the
Dragon's Dogma. I
game.
didn't finish Dark Souls yet.
Well, that's just because you don't have the fucking effort, mate. The little effort, maybe
No,
you'll get
not at the
there.
moment. Fucking playing the game. I raged Dark Souls so many times. It's not even a fucking joke anymore.
we used to become
Well, then
better at
maybe you
games,
just
Wade.
need the skill, mate.
Oh fuck! I need
Yeah.
a lot of skill.
Alright, let's move on to our next topic quickly. I know a few of you guys played Torchlight 2. I know you do.
Well,
You guys know that I played Torchlight 2 a lot. I played it a lot. I
Oh.
was insanely. I played the hardest mode. Did everything. I was really good at that game. But I sort of
Kurt
played
even
it.
brought me into that game playing the hardest mode my first time playing, and we smashed it, no problem.
It was,
It was
but
pretty fun.
eventually I got bored after getting up to New Game plus 5. You know, eventually you run out of things to do. Like, that's just what happens. And when you're versing level 130 mobs, and when you're level 100, you know, it's fun, but you get over it. But some insane modders, modded Sarlane, and it's called the Synergy mod. It's released, I think it was this week, as a complete conversion mod for Torchlight 2. Adds a new class called the Necromancer, and new maps, tons of new mobs, 108 elite monsters, 6 rare dragons, 28
Whoa.
raid dungeons, 11 unique world bosses, 4 sets of legendary armor, 16 new tier 1 legendary weapons, and brand new quest lines, and a new world hub for Act 5. This is all in a mod.
Fuck.
So this is going back to what you were saying before. Modding's crazy if you could do stuff like this. I'm definitely going to play Torchlight 2 again. I would recommend anyone that
I
hasn't
know what
bought
you're going to be for
Torchlight
next
2.
month.
I'll be Minecraft. But I imagine anyone that hasn't played this game before, get it, check it out, get this mod. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
I actually own the game, I haven't even played it yet, so maybe it's a good time to start playing. So I'll have to get it.
And just, like, I know you're mainly a console gamer. When you see something like this, Nick, do you sort of get a little
You
bit
all,
jealous?
Kurt, you just said I know you all are
Um,
really console
sorry,
gamers.
Nick.
Excuse me.
Sorry, I meant Nick. Sorry, mate. Slow down.
Well, first,
I mean,
let me just
Nick
say,
is one person, mate.
just I'm everything to everyone, but let me just say, firstly, the game guy RPG is going to smash Torchlight 2. All right. Firstly,
I hope
let me
so,
just say
mate.
that. All right. Like I don't like a boast, but yeah, I'm saying. But yeah, no, you know what? Actually, I've been looking at Torchlight 2, hearing things about it for quite a while, and I've got to say, I am actually a little interested in playing it. And what are the specs like? Does it need a lot to run? It doesn't need too much, does it?
It's a low graphic game, pretty cartoony, but it's got,
Yeah, so
like
it doesn't really need a lot.
the gameplay mechanics are really good. That's the thing. So, but the graphics wise, not so much. Don't need much.
Yeah, I might have to check it out.
You could probably
I mean,
play it
Not
on
that
your laptop.
cartoony, mate.
Well, not really, but you could probably play it on your computer. Like I don't think you need
Yeah.
a good graphics card. Maybe
Yeah,
turn
I mean,
down
I'm running
some
a
of the
pretty
effects.
crappy. Yeah, I'm running a pretty crappy computer, but yeah, maybe. And for the price, I mean, really, like, God, it's probably not even $20 now. I can't remember how much it costs, but I'll probably get this thing for $10.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
cheaper
I
than going to
should really
movie.
check it out. I'll make it my mission to go check this game out.
And get the mod, because imagine how much. Look how much stuff you get. It's crazy.
So-
I remember hearing about this ages and ages and ages ago. But a whole new class. They made an entire new class in a mod, with entire like. I'm blown away by these modders. And this is. Sorry, what was that, mate?
Yeah, can you actually tell, like, well, I don't know yet, but no one's actually played it, but with the new class, is it based off another class, like originally, or is it like a whole new kind of, like, coding for a whole new class? Like,
I'm pretty sure it's a new coding, because apparently the Necromancer's main skill is called Skull Barrage, which sends out a ton of exploding skulls, and there's nothing that I can really think about that does anything like that. So I'd
pretty,
say
that's also another thing, like, games that actually allow people to mod them, like, even, like, look at Skyrim, look at, like, Torchlight, like, it's the way of how things should be, like.
the developers that developed Torchlight, obviously you know that they developed Diablo 2, most of them. When they're talking about the game, they're like, look, this is gonna be fully open for developers. They have achievements in the game for running mods. You get an achievement if you install a mod. There's like certain achievements you get for doing certain things with mods. Like they were as open as they could be with modders, and that's the reason why modders will cling to that sort of thing.
That's how it should all be for every game on PC, I think, personally.
It's funny, like, they don't realise that fans are actually a resource that can be exploited.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, if you get, and they cost you nothing. I mean, if people are willing to sit out there and play with your game and make additional content for you, I mean, you're going to be selling more of their game for these people. Like, why wouldn't everybody just say, hey, just pointing it out, you guys can do this and this with our game, you know, here's our coding, or here's how to, like, make this. Like, they should actually be helping the fans make content and the job for them. Like, the win-win.
Definitely. But I also think some companies don't do it is because they don't want to unbalance their multiplayer. Like, I've never played Torchlight 2 myself. Like, I have it, I just haven't had time to play it. But, like, I think that they should, like, they've actually embraced that you need the mod to actually play with other people, which is, that's how all games should be.
Torchlight 2 was, pretty much, you could cheat in multiplayer. You could do it. Well, what happened if you cheated is you got a flag in your account that's saying you had cheated or you installed mods or something like that.
Okay.
So people could tell if you'd done that. If you're just joining random games and that person was like, hey, I don't really want to join a game with someone that's been using mods or anything, then they could just leave them. Or but it didn't stop you from joining people or anything like that.
And it didn't punish them. It just said, hey, this person might be using mods.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're going to move on to our next topic now. I actually didn't know anything about this, but apparently there's an MMO coming out called Neverwinter Nights. Its beta dates have been released, and they're doing a lot of founders, like a lot of thing with MMOs nowadays is they're doing these founders packs, I guess you could call them, where if you buy in early you'll get a lot of extra stuff, you get in for beta weekends and all that sort of thing. Do you agree with, like, what you're doing now is if you buy in really, really early, you get access to beta and all that sort of stuff. Do you think that's something that that MMOs should be doing? Good? Is it good?
No.
Bad?
No, I don't think it's good.
I don't think it's good at all, mate, because you know what they get? They get a fucking general population that tests raids, tests content in MMOs, and then MMOs are based off the general population, whereas, you know, prior to that, you know, MMOs have been tested off people that are really interested in the game, like very, very interested. Someone that's actually going to play the game, you know, at the highest tier of play. And I think that's the people that should be testing games. Like, I feel like, you know, the general person that plays games, sure, they enjoy them, they have fun playing them, but they're not the greatest at them or they don't have a lot of time to play. Like, I don't feel like that they should be basing their judgment off the game. I guess giving their judgment.
Have you guys heard anything about this game? Because this, for me, seems to have come out of nowhere. I'd never
I
heard of
haven't really heard anything about it, no.
MMORPG.
If it's a Neverwinter Nights I'm thinking of, it was actually a game made by BioWare, I was pretty sure. Well, and it was
A long time ago, yeah.
Yeah, 2000. I think
The
it was
original
like
one, yeah.
2001 or 2002. Yeah, and it was actually a very, very good game. Like all the reviewers gave it over like 90%. It was ridiculously good. Actually, I played it at my uncle's place, and yeah, I haven't heard anything about MMO at all. Actually, like no.
Well, I know what Neverwinter is because I don't know if you guys know, but it's based off a lot of books by R.A. Salvatore, and he's got his main character in the world called Drizzt, and it's based that world. So I know all about the world, so I'm excited. I love the world. I'm excited for the world, and apparently you can play as Drizzt in this game. But I don't know. This has come out of nowhere. You'd think I would have heard about it. Wouldn't you agree,
I'm
Nick?
surprised. I thought you were being sarcastic when you first started saying that. Honestly, like, yeah, I've heard of it too. Like, it's been around for a while. It's been supposedly pretty popular. Again, it's a PC thing, so it's not something I ever sort of delved too deeply in. But yeah, I mean, I didn't know about it, so.
Yeah. Well, I
got two
don't know
books
about
in
the
my room.
books.
I've got 2 books in my room right now. It's called Neverwinter Tales or something. They're really good. Like, they're all based around the main character Drizzt and his adventures in the world and all that sort of stuff, and his Icewind Dale, and like the world is amazing. It's a great world to be in. But
yeah, with the game originally, like I'm pretty sure like this is how it went. Like the place Neverwinter, like it's like a city, and it was coming down off a cult making a massive plague, and the actual you had to collect 4 regions in order to stop the plague and fight the plague. And yeah, if that's how it's going to play out, it's going to be very different to how MMOs are now. So,
to be honest, I haven't looked too much about. Just so you know, the dates that they're saying for North America and Europe, February 8th and 10th, March 8th and 10th, and March 22nd to 24th. So if you guys want to get in, there are a couple packs that you can get. Let me see if I can find the prices for you. There's a $49 pack or a $200 pack.
Oh wow, bit of a hike.
Yeah, well, I think the $200 pack gets you lets you play as Drizzt, and obviously Drizzt is the main character of like the entire whole thing. So I don't know. I'll do some more research into this game, I think, and see what it's about. Who knows? Could be good, could be bad. Let's just see.
Yeah. Oh, I'm interested actually, because I actually really like that game. So we'll just have to see how it goes.
Alright, GTA 5 release date being pushed back. I'm not exactly sure what date it was. I know one of you guys do.
September 17th.
Pushed back to September 17th. That's a fair way off from when it was meant to be released. I understand people are quite miffed, to say the least. Are you miffed, Nick? Are you miffed?
I am extremely miffed.
Do you know what that means?
They've been saying autumn, right? Autumn's been what we've been told every year previous, you know, because I mean Rockstar has a tradition of generally releasing 1 game a year. Everything from the past year told us April, April, May. We had, flyers saying autumn, which, would mean March, April, May. And they just spin around and say September 17. I'm wondering if this is a sign that GTA 5 is going to be a next-gen game.
That's a really good point to bring up, man.
I actually, from what
it's
I've
coming
read,
out so late, you'd think PlayStation and Xbox would probably have their consoles out by that point.
Xbox won't. I can almost
Actually,
guarantee
no,
Xbox won't.
You don't reckon?
Yeah,
Well,
2 days.
either way, if it's not a next-gen game, I would bet there will be 2 versions of the game. I'm guessing there will be a next-gen version and a watered-down version for the PS3 and 360.
Well, actually,
but mate, I mean, look at what was the system? Need for Speed Most Wanted, the very first one, right?
Oh, I love that game.
I do too, and that was one of my favorite Need for Speed games. But it came out right before 360 release.
Yep. And there was the 2 versions. Yeah.
There were 2 versions. So if anything, this is going to be the
360.
same thing. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm thinking there's a version of GTA 5 out there that's so awesome. that it needs to be on a next-gen console.
I can't
You
imagine.
I mean, it would be
hey,
smart.
hold on though, hold
It
on.
would be
Did you see
smart.
what they tweeted or posted to their fans though? Rockstar Games commented on commenters that were like, oh, you know, fuck you guys, all pissed, and they said, well, all your posts of anyone who's like mad about this are going to be deleted. We're only expending this to make the game the best game that we can make it. I mean, how do you take about that? Any game developer's going to say that, but I feel like Rockstar is going to back their product with that saying. I mean, that saying is actually ringing true for them.
Yeah, they always have been, but...
I mean, but Grand Theft Auto is a huge game, so I mean, it takes a lot to develop a game like that. And if they want it to be the best they want to be it, or they want it to be, and they're gonna take some extra time to develop it, then who cares? Like, let them take some extra time.
It just seems
No big deal.
So close
the
to
haters
launch.
the haters can bitch as much as they want, but at the end of the day, they're still going to be there at the midnight launch buying that game. Nobody
definitely.
has the balls to actually go, you know what, that's fucked, and I'm not going to buy your game. They'd be idiots. They will not do it. So
Well,
you know
why
what?
would
Let
you
the
not
haters
buy a
hate.
game based off release date? Like, that's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard of. I
Yeah,
would
so let
never
them
not
complain.
buy a game off release date.
Yeah, well, if anything, the game's actually going to be better if it's released later than earlier, because they're going to have more time to
Exactly,
develop
you're giving the
it.
developer more time.
Well, that doesn't work in all cases. Diablo 3. But anyway, all in all, I'm looking forward to playing this on PC in 3 years. So I'll be excited for it when it comes out.
Damn it. I'm playing Grand Theft Auto on my Xbox.
I will too, I think.
Anyway, Ouya controller, the Ouya dev controller, changing it because some of the devs complained about the D-pad. They didn't like it. It was too much of a disc. It was hard to
Bro,
use.
hold on, Kurt. By the way, I found almost 30 diamonds so far during our
Minecraft
podcast.
making its way into podcasts. Awesome.
30 fucking diamonds though, mate. That's a lot in less than an hour. Like, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good. Make me some diamond armor. Anyway,
Fuck you.
Ouya controller, they're changing
This
it.
guy.
I'm really excited
Right.
though, because devs are actually listening. I mean, the Ouya people are listening to what the devs want and actually making changes to their hardware this late in the cycle. It's pretty encouraging, wouldn't you say, for a new company?
Yeah, definitely. Well, like, imagine trying to tell PlayStation, like, obviously they're a lot more bigger and huger, but, like, this has had pretty overwhelming support. Imagine telling PlayStation to change their controller. That was totally get fucked. But,
Yeah,
like,
right,
like,
mate.
Kind of work Vita.
Yeah, but Vita's terrible.
If you
so-
told PlayStation to change their controller, they'd be like, yeah, fuck you.
They'll probably
I don't think
sue
so.
you.
This is what, yeah, they would probably sue you. That's correct.
That was just a quick one, but alright, something that's pretty close to me, I really want to talk about this. Heart of the Swarm. Blizzard is finally doing what they fucking should have done 2 years ago with Star Wars. I mean, StarCraft, sorry. What you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to restart a game that's like obviously been shut down or something from the replay. So basically one of the things that in competitive tournaments which was really annoying, because obviously there is no LAN for StarCraft. And what that means...
you know what, mate? Why don't they just develop LAN for StarCraft?
They won't, because they're
They won't,
full on internet sort of thing now. But what was
why
happening
not, mate?
is...
It'd be a good idea.
I know it'd be a good idea, but they're not going to do it. But what they did do is, like, StarCraft tournaments, you'd have like a internet dropout and the game is lost. That doesn't matter where you are, like you have to start again or something. That ruined a few tournaments actually. With this, if it drops, you'll be able to restart right from where you were, which is pretty amazing. And I think you'd already do it on what's the other game? League of Legends.
Yeah, you can, yeah, indeed.
But what also is good is you could grab a replay pack of a pro and start from one of their points and play like a pro, play in a pros game, or the pros could grab back some of their big games they lost and try and figure out what they could have done differently.
Yeah, definitely. I was just going to say, that'd be really good for practice. Like, so maybe like all the tournaments are stepping up their games a bit more from like after this.
Yeah. So Blizzard seems like they're finally starting to listen. I feel like Blizzard's always one step behind in esports though, which is really weird considering they should be the ones in
One
the
step
lead.
ahead.
Yeah. I mean, come on, Blizzard.
Yeah, well, even if you look at the tournaments, like you never ever see like Blizzard like being advertised or anything. It's always the sponsors like Razer or TT Sports or something.
Monster even.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like it's crazy. Like you would think that the developer of the game would be like in the actual, like be there supporting the tournaments, and it's not the case at all. Really strange.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes
Yeah.
in GOM they do. I'm pretty sure, but they're partnered pretty much with
Yeah.
GOM.
I think they kind of just hand it over to like someone who like in Korea or something that would do all the advertising and everything. They just don't get as much as they really should.
Yeah, they're just like, nah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're just a developer. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Just I'm really.
What
looking
reason would
forward
they have
it.
to care? I mean, they're making money either way. People are playing
Yeah,
their game.
exactly right. Yeah. Well, could you imagine how much copies will be sold like in Korea on the first day? Like it's ridiculous. Yeah. Like.
So many. All right, so another big one. THQ, dead.
I am
Wait,
devastated about this.
no, don't talk about this, mate. This,
I am so
This is
upset.
gonna go back. I swear, the event. It's not happening. No.
We were really okay.
Hmm.
THQ officially sold off most of their assets, which I'm actually thankful that most of the good assets got picked up. I think apart from the wrestling one, that's the only one I think that's left from them.
Oh no, no more wrestling.
Yeah, so
Who
but
the
they've got,
fuck cares?
I don't care about
Yeah.
that, but the games I'm really thankful they got picked up. South Park, the Stick of Truth, picked up by Ubisoft, I believe.
That's good, I think.
Yep.
Violation, obviously the guys who make Saints Row got picked up. They were going to get picked up by Ubisoft, but then some other company picked them up, I think.
I think it was the same company who actually bought probably one of my favorite first-person shooters or post-apocalyptic Metro, Code Media.
Oh yeah, Metro.
Code Media. Yeah, and if that delays the game, because I've been waiting for so long, it's supposed to be out in March, I'm pretty sure.
I'd
And,
say, mate, but it's gonna delay the game no matter what. Like,
so
at
upset.
least a little bit, but not. I mean, maybe not by much, but you can guarantee that that's gonna delay the game by at least
Yeah.
a little bit because there's a lot that has to go on to develop it at this point,
What I'm
or
excited
produce
for,
it even.
I think like maybe like games like the Stick of Truth or something might actually get pushed out faster. Like obviously that was getting pushed back quite a bit by the company. It was meant to be out early this year. It was meant to be out this year sometime. Then it got pushed back quite a bit. But I think Ubisoft might push it even. And that game looks amazing. I can't wait to play
Yeah.
it.
Well, yeah.
You know,
Well,
what
Ubisoft's a
glad
big
got
developer,
picked
man.
up- What I'm glad got picked up is it was kind of like, you know, the last kid in gym class to get picked, which I was getting a bit worried. Darksiders 3.
Wow, yeah.
And,
Yeah, true, yeah.
For a while there, it seemed like it wasn't going to get picked by anybody, which led to a really great reveal on Twitter. One of the creators came out and was like, "Oh, it's a real shame. It looks like people aren't going to get to play Darksiders 3. We've been having a lot of fun playing 4-player co-op."
Oh,
Then it got
wow.
picked up. All 4 horsemen in Darksiders 3. Can you imagine? That's going to
That
be
is going to be incredible.
amazing.
Yeah.
That'll be
So that was a great
Um,
little reveal, and I'm
here-
glad they got picked up. I think I could be wrong on this. Crytek? Does that sound right? to
Yeah,
any-
I think
Crytek,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think Crytek picked them up.
Yeah,
Bit weird, but don't quote me on that one.
Yeah,
but I
Crytek
think that's
also,
what I heard.
Crytek also bought it wasn't a very good game. I actually enjoyed it though. I think Nick enjoyed it too. Homefront. Crytek bought Homefront too, so.
Homefront.
Yeah, it wasn't a good
it's
game,
not
but
a
the
bad. Mine
cinematics were
liked it. I
incredible.
really didn't mind
I didn't
Homefront.
mind it.
Do you guys... Sorry, go on, Jesse.
What about, here's a big game we kind of missed out. What about Company Heroes 2? Like, that was bought by, who bought that? I'm not sure actually who bought it, but that's like, Company Heroes is a pretty massive game, and number 2 was looking really good, so hopefully it doesn't. Actually, I think Sega actually bought it, so I don't know.
I'm wondering who picked up Saints Row. 'Cause I would hate to see
The
that.
same company who bought Metro, Koch Media, Koch. Yeah, they the
Wait.
German media group. Yeah, Koch. Koch
Can I
Media.
just say, how tragic this is? Like, seriously, seeing THQ go down,
Oh,
it
yeah.
really pisses
you
me
know what
off.
I'm most worried
Like,
about? What
I
about
hate
the
a
original
company that
Tony
made
Hawk's
games.
Pro Skater, man?
Nothing's been mentioned about that. Yeah.
Anyway, so what you
I
saying,
miss
Nick?
the old. I miss the old
No,
Tony
just-
Hawk.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's shit that we're in this field where it doesn't matter how good you are or how good the product is that you make, that you can still basically
But-
get screwed and completely go down. Well, Call of Duty, year after year, keeps raking in bucket loads of money with the same shit.
The
But-
thing is, Nick, the CEO severely mismanaged THQ. The whole reason it went down, there were a few reasons. Yeah, I'll just basically they bought UDraw, which was an incredible stupendous waste of money. They wasted so much money on that. So that was one thing they faced. Then they took so long to get out of kids game. They were continuing to make kids game, especially in a time when kids games are already taken over by like iPhones and all that sort of thing. There was no market for kids games anymore, and they were pumping money into that. They just made bad investment after bad investment after bad investment, and your company can only survive that long. The games they were making actually, you're right, they were hugely popular, great games, but when you just make that many bad decisions, it's not gonna work.
Alright, mate, we're talking about the iPhone game and kids games though for a while now. Earlier we were talking about Android and handheld games. At this point, you know, what's going to be the next step for kids games and handheld games? Like, I'm kind of curious what your opinion is on that.
Well, I think that yeah. Well, another thing.
But it's kid games, mate. But I mean, at the same time, Angry Birds is a kid game. How many is a kid's game? How many adults play that? It's a fun game to play. I have Angry Birds on my iPhone.
So do I. Like, if you think about it, like, you actually see a lot of kids like even walk around with iPod touches and iPads now. Most kids aren't playing handhelds; they're playing off their parents' iPhones or they get an iPod Touch, and they're just playing the games off the iOS.
And that brings up my next point. So the next developer that's going to come out with the next handheld, I think at this point,
Apple. Yeah.
You know, Apple has a great thing going, but the next handheld gamer device is going to be a phone. It has to be. Otherwise, there's going to be no competition, because who wants to carry around both? And you can develop something that has amazing gaming capabilities, but is also a phone. That's just the way it's going to have to be.
That's been played with. Like, you look at that. The Sony Xperia was a PSP built into a phone. Like, it was running off Android, I was pretty sure, or something. And so we'll have to see. Like, a lot of even handhelds are moving to Android. So it won't take long for a company to actually make let's put a phone and a handheld into one that will actually work. Like the Sony Xperia was, like, I'm not gonna lie, it was terrible. Like, I had it as a work phone, and so hopefully, like, maybe I'm not saying Apple, like maybe even like a bigger company like HTC or something will try and play with it. So we'll see how it goes.
Apple's like the biggest company right now, man. Though they're huge, they're way too big.
I know
the problem is that Apple is too big, and they're so big that they don't have a need to really develop anything intuitive at this point.
Yeah,
like,
exactly right.
They can kind of sit back, and that's a huge problem. When companies get too big, I feel like it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
I just found more diamonds.
Hey, go on the subject of THQ just real quick. Has anyone actually looked at a UDraw tablet?
No, I have not.
I have not.
You've
either.
never looked at a UDraw tablet?
I'm very not interested in tablets, so, like, what's the point? I just want to hear your opinion first before you go into this. What's the point of having a tablet, mate?
No, my question is this. THQ came up with the UDraw quite a few years back now. And it was a thing with the Wii. It was more probably prominent on the Wii than anything else. Then, down the track, Nintendo comes up with Wii U, a tablet controller that, in a sense, to me, looked almost identical to it. It even had U in the name. UDraw, U, Applet. I'm surprised THQ didn't make any money off that.
Fucking thieves. Nah, kidding.
I think that could have been the nail in the coffin too, actually. Like,
right, if I was THQ, I would have sued Nintendo and been like, what the hell? Even the U, I think, on the UDraw box has like a little blue thing around it. I swear to God, like, go look at a UDraw tablet if you can find one anyway, and tell me I'm wrong. Because yeah, they deserve some money. Like, THQ should be freaking suing.
Yeah. Before we move on, I'm just gonna say, like, it's actually like pretty sad news. Like, I'm quite upset about it because, like, they had a lot of games I actually like. Like,
same. THQ was a great game.
Yeah, like Company of Heroes. I played a lot of that game. That was amazing. And Metro, like, incredible. Right? And yeah.
Can I say, as someone who went to a lot of vendor conferences and stuff through work, THQ also had some of the most fun booths that I can remember in recent memory. Their games, they was really fun the way they presented them. Like, I remember, it's probably a bad example, but Saints Row, when they were showing it off, they had all girls dressed up as fucking hoes.
Bet you love that, Nick. Bet you love that.
It was awesome. It was fucking awesome. They just had the best way and the most fun way of presenting their stuff.
How'd your wife like that, Nick?
He doesn't know. Hopefully she maybe hear that. No, I think we're all
I hope
good.
she watched our podcast.
Yeah,
Wait,
like-
you're telling me that you don't have your wife watch our podcast? That's one viewer that we like don't have now, mate.
I
I'm
think-
really
Dude,
disappointed.
I'm using the internet right now. Like, she can't be watching it.
Alright, so before we move on, I think we'll have 3 seconds of devoted silence to our fallen comrade. In
I think we
game.
should
Make
have
it
a
10,
certain of
mate. At
scotch.
least 10.
Well, nah, 10's too long for a
I think we should have a
No,
drink.
10 is not too long. We're having a 10
Ah, no,
second
that's
silence.
right. Let's just have a drink.
Or
Have a
pour a
drink.
40 on the curb.
For THQ. Cheers, THQ. You played.
You will be missed.
You did some good
Yes.
games. You did well. That's some tasty scotch.
Yeah.
J.J. Abraham developing next Star Wars. Go.
Woo!
You think
No.
that's good, Nick? I don't think it's good at all, to be
I think
honest.
it's freaking great. I think Disney's made a brilliant move. The man who's like rebooting the Star Trek franchise now has control of Star Wars as well. He's great. He's an amazing director. Why would that not be a good thing?
Oh my God. Star Trek, Star Wars are going to merge.
Oh, no.
The man
Um,
controls both.
Well,
what an
He's gonna be in
awesome-
Star Wars now.
I think he's a really good science fiction kind of like a filmmaker, but like, what do you think? Like, honestly, Nick, I think you're like the best Star Wars person to talk to that I know personally. Like,
Oh,
do
Kurt's
you,
pretty good.
do you think he'll
Anyway.
stick with the actual story that's going on now, or do you think he'll start of a whole new era in Star Wars?
I think to some degree he has started a new era. The smartest thing in my book would be to get the old characters just as cameos.
Yeah.
Just launching a new storyline, like maybe have Luke Skywalker as the Grand Master of the Jedi, just setting some new Jedi on his path, or have an appearance by Princess Leia. I can guarantee
Yeah.
Harrison Ford's not
Well-
going to be in it because he's pretty much said a million times he'll never do it. He'll never go back.
Yeah,
What-
and
what
he's
they-
too old at this point too.
What they need to do, right, is like what the extended universe did, like with the books and stuff. The books have made it into an entire universe, where the movies are sort of just following this one family. What I think Disney could really do with these movies is make it a universe where they can have stories told in this universe, not just about Jedi. Maybe there could be like a bounty hunter movie, and they could just have different movies set in the Star Wars universe, not so much centered around this one family.
That's a good idea.
I
They're very
That's
good.
a really good idea.
I agree. I agree with her like 100% that is a great idea. But my only problem with that is that George Lucas has always said that the episodes are basically the tale of the Skywalker family. Or not that he hasn't gone back on his word like a million times, but I don't know. I think you got to have Skywalkers in a sense.
No, but mate,
I mean,
that's
if
what George
it's a
Lucas
movie,
has said.
it's not an
We're going to
episode.
be developing a whole new tradition at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
They have the potential to go with a whole nother story.
That's
they
great.
could be basing it off something completely different than that at this point, and that's a great opportunity.
Use Havon.
Doesn't have to be.
That's awesome, but don't call it episode 7. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
no,
a Star
right.
Wars movie.
Exactly,
Make it
okay,
about whatever the
okay.
hell you want. It'll be amazing, but don't be calling it 7, 8, and 9.
No,
don't be making
yeah.
out that it's a continuation because
Yeah.
that's where it's gonna get screwy.
I
I
agree
mean,
with
mate,
you
I
there,
hate to
Nick,
bring
for
this
sure.
into it, but like, it's the same in the James Bond movies, in my opinion. The James Bond movies, like, it's not fucking Bond. It should have been called completely something else. But instead,
Yeah.
they labeled it as James Bond and called the same character James Bond. Like that. That's not how they fucking should have done it. It needs to be a new
Yeah.
character. The whole style
You
of the
can't do that
movie,
with Star
everything
Wars,
about the
though.
character is completely different, and they need to do this.
Being a huge
Like-
Bond fan, like, I think that was just because of Ian Fleming's books. Like, they kind of based them off there to his last book or his first book. Because actually, Casino Royale was originally the first book that he wrote. Like, it's kind of weird how they did it. I don't know why they did it, actually.
Well, the problem is the actors, though, mate. So what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, like,
Yeah.
if you can't get the same actors to participate in the movie, make a fucking new series, but in the
Yeah.
same context. Because that ruined James Bond for me. After I saw that first fucking movie, after I saw Casino Royale, I was like, okay, Bond, trilogy, Bond franchise, whatever, it's all fucked.
Yeah.
Pierce
Yeah.
Bronson was the last good actor that I've seen.
Yeah,
A lot of people don't
he
even
was
like
really
him,
good.
but I think that he did a really good job in Star Wars, or not Star Wars, James Bond.
Pierce Brosnan, Star Wars.
Yeah,
Chewbacca
whatever.
or no? Yeah. No. Look, I love Star Wars. I love the books. But even though I know everything that happens after the movies, according to the books, I think that it wouldn't be the first time they've made movies that have nothing to do with the books. Like, they've thrown out the books in the past. There were a lot of books that came out before the prequel trilogy that just sort of became null and void once the prequels came out. Like, they've done it before, so it'll be interesting if they'll respect the source material.
They won't. They won't care.
Universe. They won't care. They'll make whatever they want, and they'll say, you know what, those old novels, well, screw you. You don't
Then
matter
again, like,
anymore, so.
I just like the Star Wars universe is it's so rich right now, considering like now you have this like, even though yeah, maybe the Star Wars game isn't as successful as we wanted, but like think of all the lore they've made around that era, and like they could choose a whole other era in Star Wars,
Well,
and make some more stories in Star Wars that just have nothing to do with it.
You know what? Sorry, Jesse, go. You go first.
I think that, honestly, I'd love to either see Darth Plagueis, because that'd be awesome, or I'd love to see the Knights of the Old Republic. They should just make a movie based around that time. Like, that would be incredible. Like, I'd love that.
And one thing, as we'll go back to J.J. Abraham, and that's why I'm actually backing him for this, and I think he's perfect for the role. Look what he's done with Star Trek. He's paid, what he did with Star Trek is he remade it, yes, not the same. He paid homage to the original characters and story, but it's new. It's separate and it's different, and he did a good job. And people liked it. I think he can do the same thing for Star Wars. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I mean, he's doing a reboot though. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing too. I mean, yeah, I think I agree. He's going to bring new life to it and stuff. And but you know, the novels are actually at the perfect point right now to start movies, okay? You've got Luke Skywalker, the Grand Master, is pretty much the age that Mark Hamill would be right now, and he has like a 16-year-old son, Ben Skywalker. I mean, what a perfect launching
Isn't Mark
point.
Hamill fat as shit, but?
Hey?
Isn't Mark Hamill really fat now, though?
I would have no idea. I don't know. I haven't seen a picture of Mark Hamill, but
He's a fucking Hollywood actor, man.
I'm sure for the right money, they can trim him up and fucking give him some liposuction. I don't know.
I could
He
even
can go to the fucking gym and work out, like, no problem.
You know what they could even do? They could buy the rights of like the Yusan Vong books. Imagine how amazing like the Yusan Vong books would be in movie form.
That would be amazing, but I don't know how you do it without Luke and Leia and Han and all of them.
Yeah, you can't really. But you could cut them out and base it more. Like you could have them have like a small cameo and then base it more, because it was more about like the sons. It was more about their story actually.
Yeah, so you know what? I want to see the family continued. I could totally go without any of the olds, as long as, you know, whoever it is has a surname Solo or Skywalker or whatever.
You could explain it. You could have a short story and explain it.
Yeah, you only really need the droids, honestly. You get R2-D2 and C-3PO in there, because they've been pretty much the only constant theme throughout the entire series.
And they're timeless, mate. They never
can be played by anyone, so...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Don't forget Jar Jar.
Ah, fuck Jar Jar.
Fuck Jar Jar.
I hate that guy.
Can I tell you something? Do you guys know Jar Jar's still alive in episode 6?
Really?
What?
Okay. Go back and watch Star Wars on Blu-ray with, you know, the one where they put Hayden Christensen at the end of Return of the Jedi. Turn on the subtitles and then watch the final scene where they're playing all that music and they're going from planet to planet, right? At one stage, they go to Naboo. They show Naboo. If you've got the subtitles turned on and you listen carefully, you'll hear Jar Jar say very clearly, "We are free!" It's his fucking voice, and it comes up in the subtitles.
So
Jar
he put
Jar
it in
is fucking alive in Return of the Jedi.
He put Jar Jar back in. He ruined everything.
If it's only episode 7 and they put Jar Jar, they better kill him in the first 5 minutes. They'll have the crowd in an uproar, mate. People love that movie.
It's like Jar Jar's like, I'm here. Some guy gets out like a sniper rifle.
You guys all sound like Mario right now. I'm making a pizza. Hey, I'm a Mario. I'm making a pizza, man.
Yeah, honestly, like, if I could say anything, I don't even think they should even continue. Like, they should just leave it. Like, they should just like choose a new era. Like what I said.
Make new movies.
Yeah, imagine like Knights of the Old Republic, like a series. That'd be crazy good.
The Revan storyline.
Yeah, Revan, exactly. Like,
First Knights of the Old Republic game in movie form.
You know, one thing I'm sad for. We still haven't finished the Revan storyline. I still don't know who the Emperor is. Still don't know what's going on with Revan.
Yeah,
that's the only thing keeping me tied to Star Wars: The Old Republic.
We better get a bloody novel if they shut that MMO down. I better get a novel saying who the hell this Emperor is.
Yeah, I read every single novel about it. I read everything.
I know, they're awesome.
Oh my god, so
and Revan's
good.
still alive, basically, yeah.
Revan's still alive. You fight him in Star Wars Republic. You beat
don't
him,
beat
but
him.
he turns into lightning or something, and then he goes away. But I'm pretty sure he's still alive. And we don't know who the Emperor is. Oh my! It's so much. Like I'm probably gonna play it. That's the only reason I think I'm probably gonna play the Star Wars expansion when it comes out, just to see if I get any more glimpses of the story to do with that.
Yeah, what is
So-
it, the Hutt Cartels? I find that
Yeah.
really uninteresting.
Mm.
If they
Yeah,
made
me
the
too.
new expansion about the Emperor, I probably would have been all over it.
Exactly.
So
Alright,
if
there you
they're
go.
going to do anything around that, I think that would probably be the last expansion they would do, because that's like what everyone's holding on to. Like, I think.
Alright,
Mate, everyone's going to forget by the time they get around to freaking doing it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so Elder Scrolls Online, you guys may have heard about it, has released. They had their beta invite.
Heard about it, mate. I fucking signed up for the beta the first day it was
Yeah,
released.
me
I think
too.
everyone in here
Yep.
did.
I
It's really
signed up.
interesting,
We shouldn't. There's not much to say about it. They've done their beta sign-ups for it. It looks amazing. Does anyone want to say anything about the beta? I think
So,
Liam did.
Yeah. Well, it was really the best beta I signed up for, and it was really all the process of going through it, where they made you put down your PC specs and everything.
Yeah,
I just thought it was a little. It was
They
like
didn't
a
make
cool.
you, mate. Hold on. They didn't
Oh, they
make
didn't-
you put your
they didn't make you-
PC
oh,
specs. But if
it's-
you wanted a better chance,
Yeah.
no, you
so they're
put down your
basically
PC
telling
specs.
you.
I got excellent.
Basically telling you, like, if you don't put your PC specs down, you've got fuck all chance of getting a beta.
No, they didn't
But it
say
was-
that though, mate. They just said you have a
Oh.
better chance if you put them down. Like, let's be honest.
Hey.
Gotta be honest here.
Let's be honest. If you don't put the specs down, who the fuck's gonna choose you?
You know what,
But,
mate? I'm not sure how worried they are about that. You know?
Yeah, I don't know either, but I'm just saying the whole process was pretty cool of how they did it. It's the first time I did something like that, and that was pretty cool.
Well, it's not like it's hard or anything. You just go to type BXDAG, whatever it was, and just like copy
Oh,
and
no,
paste it
no.
on there. Like, yeah.
Talking about the whole beta process, like applying, like getting them to show you history and everything
Yeah.
of playing the games and stuff. That was pretty cool. I just
Well,
enjoyed like.
Let's be honest here, like, obviously, they've got in their mindset that a lot of people who play WoW are going to try to play Elder Scrolls, like they did with Guild Wars 2. So they're going to see how well they can optimize the games with the census of everyone's hardware. So that's the only reason they're doing it. Because they're
Yeah,
going to
they
have to
don't want
make...
to give you beta access into a shit computer.
Exactly.
You get a
Like-
bad
exactly,
experience
yeah.
and it
And look at
lags like a
WoW,
mofo,
like-
then you bang it out.
Dude, you can play WoW on a fucking calculator, like, that's what they're trying to do. They're going to try and do that with this. They can't, like, make it, like, some crazy graphical game, because not everyone's going to be able to play it.
Yeah, well, I got an excellent on my beta, my sign up. It said
Yeah, so
excellent
did I.
job, top of the
Yep.
range.
I just got the one below excellent.
Yeah, I got excellent, it was good.
I got excellent too.
Alright, so that's that. City Beta was out, I think, this recent week. Did any of you guys play the beta at all?
Fuck
No.
yeah. Played the fuck
I
out
got a
of it.
code, but I gave it to Shant, so
Shannon played it. Sideswipe. It was.
Oh, what the hell? Shannon got your code? I got my own code. He was all like, yeah, I got a code. And I was like, oh, good for you, mate. You got your code, though? I'm really
yeah, well,
disappointed.
So what do you think of the game,
Oh.
Chris? It's a new game coming. It's a new game
I
coming.
thought
out.
it
What
was
do you think?
it was really great. It was really fun, mate. Like basically, the beta gave us an hour to play the game. However, it had limited specializations. Basically, in the new Sim City, you can specialize your city into something like gambling or mining or anything like that. The only one that we could specialize in is gambling, so it was rather limited. However, the beta itself pretty much gave us an hour to do whatever the fuck we wanted to do with the city. And it was really, really fun. There were, a few buildings that were limited as well, other than just specializations. But, overall, even without those fucking, buildings, I played the beta for multiple hour-long sessions. And it was extremely fun. Basically, I think this is going to be the best Sim City yet, obviously. Why wouldn't it be?
There was a huge
But-
uproar on it, though.
Well,
Really?
because
What was the uproar?
Yeah,
online
basically-
only.
No, not only that. Well, basically, they only announced one version of the game originally. Everyone went out and pre-ordered the basic edition, so everyone starts off with fair ground. And then, like, only a couple of days ago, on the 30th of January, EA announced Deluxe Edition. And basically what they added it so you could change to some European cities or something, I was told. But I think the normal version of the game was $60, and the deluxe edition was $80, and everyone, that's US, not Australian, by the way. And and everyone's going crazy to EA game because everyone's going out and pre-ordered the game, and they're saying, well, you want us to add an extra $20 for a bit of content. But knowing me, like, I'm the type of person, if I can throw $20 and get more gameplay out of it, I will do it. And so everyone's starting to realize that EA are kind of the kings of doing this. Like, they just want DLC or DLC, and it's not even much DLC. But so it's Australia. It's going to cost $129 for the collector's edition, and you only get one extra thing. That's all you get. So
I think every game does this though, doesn't it? Like, this is pretty standard practice.
You're wrong, because most games actually announce their special editions when they announce their normal editions. The problem that a lot of players have had at this point is that EA released their special edition so much later than their normal edition that everyone that wanted fucking SimCity 4 was like, fuck yeah, pre-order that shit, let's go right now. And then they got fucked because the normal edition, you know, was the one that they pre-ordered.
Yeah, well, even if you look at like Battlefield 3, like they released the game with back to Karkan for the limited edition, and then they said for you to get the next map pack that comes out in 2 months, you're gonna have to go out and buy premium or buy it separately for $20 each. Like, so that's an extra, like, for Australians it was like $60 to $70 for the premium edition, and realistically, like, you get a map pack like every 4 months, and it's pretty it's pretty expensive, like, if you think about it.
But you're saving money doing premium.
I've got a very simple philosophy when it comes to DLC, which I think most of you will agree with. If it's ready and the game's ready to go out, it should be included in the game. If it's made after the game releases, then you can let it as DLC. I think it's a bit of a rip when you've got something ready, and it's even when it's on the disc, like, that's the biggest rip, where something's on the disc and you literally have to buy something to unlock it when the data is already there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the biggest bullshit ever.
Yeah.
It's on the disc, you've paid for it, that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
That also pisses me off too, like, remember back in the day, when they released DLC, like, they released it as a separate, like, expansion pack. Now, you kind of have to, like, you go to a game store and you buy a code. Like, you spend, like, $40 and you get, like, a fucking 10-digit code. You go put it in a computer, then you have to download it. Like, it's so expensive, like, and another thing is, like, I don't hate Origin, but a lot of people hate EA Origin, and, like, in order for you to play the game online, you have to be connected to Origin all the whole time. And a lot of people don't like that for some reason.
It's fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Well, it's annoying, mate, because Origin is more CPU heavy than Steam.
Yeah.
It takes up more space. It's not the greatest thing. Like, why couldn't they just develop it through Steam? Like, why not?
Because they want to make, they want their own, they want to promote their own thing. So that's what.
But they're not promoting their own thing. They're making their own thing look like shit. No one wants to play their thing. Everyone would much rather go through Steam. It's like, so why?
I didn't say they're smart, Chris. But they want to get people to use their thing that they've developed, and this is one way they can get to do it. Alright, so
Kurt, I'm done. Hold on, I'm done mining, mate, and I found 27 diamonds in the last 40 minutes.
What a pro. What a pro.
That's pretty good. 27 diamonds is a lot.
We've been playing Minecraft so much, guys, that can't even handle going a podcast without it. I haven't played it in a while, but love it. Alright, so we're moving into our last topic for the week. Devil May Cry. It's our review for the week. Came out on PC 2 weeks ago, I believe. The consoles earlier. I played it. Liam played it. Nick played it. We all played it. There's been some different reviews. A lot of good reviews on the net and everything. There are some people that don't like it. I think mainly because they don't like the new Dante. But I don't give a shit because I never played the old game, so I don't really care. I thought the combat was amazing. I thought the combat was fluid. You could change between your gun, do juggle combos with the guns really easily. I thought the axe was a bit overpowered. I liked the fist a lot more than the axe, but the axe was probably the strongest thing ever. And when you got the Quilla, that was pretty OP as well, because you had to stun things with like blades that just like stun on them. So like I can see some bad aspects in the combat system, but overall, story was really good, well done. There were good cutscenes, like they went for a fair amount of time, but there wasn't too long, so it wasn't like Assassin's Creed length where it was just cutscene after cutscene after suckscene. You had a good intermission of cutscenes and action, and the boss fights were entertaining. I'll never forget fighting that succubus. probably the most hilarious boss fight I've ever done.
Oh,
Oh my god.
I would say
that was
fighting,
pretty funny.
fighting a giant mutated baby that
Oh.
sucks its own mother into its belly button
Oh, wow.
would probably
Yeah.
be the most memorable boss fight in recent memory.
Oh, that was.
Well, I can't
a
forget
bit
that boss fight.
Or even fighting a television fucking station.
And that world where you're going,
That was cool.
where you're going
Yeah.
through, like, some of the worlds are amazing. Like, there's this one world where you're basically in a nightclub, and it's such a different. Like, before you're in this gothic, like, stuff and everything, but then there's a level where there's techno music and like it's just so different. Like, so many different environments. Replayability's there because you want to actually each level is sort of like its own timed run where you can maybe try and get done faster, do better combos, just do better all up. Like I can see the replayability value of it. And the only thing I wasn't quite so happy about was the final boss fight. I thought it wasn't very intuitive, and I thought he blocked way too fucking often for my liking.
What
So-
was I haven't played it myself, but like would you say, like, because I remember I haven't played it, but Devil May Cry 4 I bought it when it first came out on Xbox, and like they had the 2 characters. How was it with just one character? Like
It was perfect.
it was fine. Like there wasn't no like holes in the storyline or anything like that. Or was just
No,
they,
no,
read
no.
they read the story so well that you didn't care about the other characters, like if you had a different character to play.
Plus, it was a reboot, so it's more akin to Devil May Cry 1.
oh
It
beautiful.
kind of followed that general story. Even the bad guy, the main bad guy, and it was actually the same main bad guy as the
that's
first
awesome.
one.
It's a prequel
So-
to the old ones.
It was so good.
No,
like,
it's not really a prequel. It's
Oh,
I mean, it's a
the beginning of the story,
reimagining.
but-
It's a reimagining of the first one.
I was
but
basically-
I must say I was pretty disappointed with the last 2 boss fights. I thought like it was the last boss fight I didn't enjoy. Didn't have fun at all in that boss fight. And the one before that, like even though I enjoyed like the scenes in it, I thought it was much too easier. I thought every single other boss fight was harder in the game. I thought it was probably the easiest boss fight in the game, the last boss fight, which I found sort of weird. I thought the hardest boss fight was actually the baby boss fight.
Yeah, that's pretty fair call actually. I mean, I gotta say, look, I love this game. As reboots go, it's probably the best reboot of a series that I can remember ever playing. And I mean, if they say there's Devil May Cry 2, you know, coming out after this, man, I'll be the first in line to buy it.
Yeah.
You like Dante?
I love the new Dante. I think everybody who whinged about his hair is just a big sook. Like, are you serious?
Did you
I mean,
like
for
when
God's sakes, people, play the damn game to the end. They write your stupid white hair thing into the story. Like,
Did they like
You know
when he
what I
had
mean?
that wig on him?
They even make it joke
When he had
about
the
it,
wig
which is
on?
hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. Loved it. That was such a like a bit of a fuck you to the fans. But I love that. Like, I love that kind of stuff. Like,
Cheeky.
screw you guys. You know. Oh, is this what you want? No.
Jesse,
Forget
let's
it.
drink.
You know what I
Not
mean?
gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think it was really nicely done. He had the same sort of humour, and I was supposed to be a dickbag. Like, he's
I think
always
he was
been
more of a
dick.
smartass in this.
He was. They gave
Yeah.
his personality was
Like,
perfect, I reckon.
His personality like changed. Like at the start, you'd think like he doesn't care about anything, and then he really grows to.
Yeah.
I don't know. He just grows as a character. I think a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was amazingly done. Good job, Ninja Theory. Like, they've done good work.
I'm going to go back and do the last boss fight actually, because I'll tell you guys. I'll do the last boss fight, and apparently there's some super secret thing that you're meant to do, which I didn't see. That Nick told me afterwards, so I did it like for 20 minutes, and I was like, I just yelled, "Fuck this!" And because I would say the last boss fight is not fun at all. I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was probably the worst part of the entire game.
You know what though? We were complaining earlier that games these days, and you know, but now when they do things like that, where they're like, you know what, we're not going to tell you what to do. You fucking work it out. We get pissed off because we're so used to having our hands held, and like, you know, used to having everything
But
explained
I think other games like back in the day when something was hard, it was more more intuitive hard though. Like it may have been hard to do, but
Yeah.
they didn't put
It
you
wasn't
somewhere
hard.
and just have like something random you have to do. You got no idea what it is. Sometimes they do, but I didn't. I never actually thought that was good game design of just having something random
Yeah.
and you have no idea what it is until you just try like random shit.
On the topic of reboots, the Prince of Persia reboot that happened ages ago, you know, was terrible. Like, I just thought that was a really bad reboot. But
The
there was
Forgotten
one...
Sands.
No, not the Forgotten Sands. The one
Oh,
before
the
that,
one
the
with
actual
Nolan North.
reboot. Yeah, and but there was one scene where you had to randomly you had to jump off the edge of. You basically had to try and kill yourself to pass a part, which I thought was pretty fucking random. Like, you know, they didn't spell it out to you.
It's
If you
counterintuitive.
yeah, you're
stuff
sitting
like
there
that.
fighting for 20 years. The trick was try to kill yourself. Go and walk to the edge and jump off the damn cliff, and then you'll. Yeah, it's like sometimes it can be really counterintuitive.
That's
think
not
that-
that's not fun gameplay.
I think the only masters of that type of stuff is like Metal Gear Solid. Like you have to like kill yourself or fake your own death. Like that's the only kind of game that could probably get away with it these days. I think. Like,
If it works for the story, but it can't be just like random. You've played a set of rules for all this time, and then they just throw some curveball. Like that's a bit annoying.
You always have to play within the set of rules. I think if you can, I think you can completely break the rules, but you have to be like have something to lead you to it. Obviously, like yeah. Otherwise, it's just shit. It's boring and annoying.
Well, I reckon, off topic from all of that, one of the best parts about the game was at the transition from the real world to Limbo. That was a pretty cool idea how they did that.
I wish
think
there was
the game
more
design-
real world stuff though. To be honest, that was one thing.
Sorry?
I didn't like how everything was in Limbo. I thought it would be a little bit more fun to have some things in
Limbo
real
got a
life.
little repetitive. You know what I
Oh,
thought
it
was
did, but
majorly
actually-
jarring? Majorly
Sorry?
jarring was that puzzle sequence towards the end. Just out of nowhere, you've got to help Virgil by aligning those symbols.
Yeah, what the hell?
That
It took
was
me a while
really
to figure
random.
that out.
It was easy as
Yeah, it was
shit,
just-
but it was weird.
It was just thrown in there out of nowhere. It's like, where the fuck did this come from? It's like there's been no puzzles, and all of a sudden you just throw this puzzle in. Like
It was cool.
it's still a great game. Like it's top game,
Oh, yeah.
top notch, good.
Alright.
job.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Notch, mate. Top fucking notch.
yeah,
So
it was
that's
really-
all our topics for the
Bring
week,
on number
guys.
2.
Anyone else have anything they want to talk about this week? Anything else that we may have missed?
Nope.
That's alright. That's it. So we can just do our shout outs for the week. We'll go around the table. Start off with Lim. Shout outs, mate.
I'd like to shout out to my
Whoa.
band, my favourite episode.
Hold on, we didn't
We,
talk
uh,
about Sim City beta.
Yeah, we did.
Yes,
No,
what?
we didn't. When?
You even
Before
discussed
Devil May
about
Cry.
it.
You talked
You
about
discussed
it.
about it.
Go home,
Did
Chris.
we?
You're drunk.
Okay. Alright.
Alright, I'd like to shout out to my band, my favourite episode. Go check us out on Facebook. Not much else after that. Fucking see you next time, guys.
Alright.
Wait, Kurt, did you tell me I'm drunk? That's a good thing, mate. I've had a
Yeah, I know.
shitty day. I'm glad.
Alright, Nick. Shout outs. Shout outs for the week.
Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks to Nick Adds Comics, and make sure you like the page to get all the updates on the RPG, which will hopefully be done one of these days if I stop adding stuff to it. So, yeah, come and get all the news there.
AKA
and
never.
I look forward to releasing it.
Never. Alright, Chris. Doc Trents.
Shout
Shout
out
out.
to Nick Av's Comics, and yeah, life. Let's get drunk.
Alright. And our newest host, Jesse. First shout outs. What do you want to shout out to?
Actually, shout out to you guys. Like, thanks for having me on your show. I actually really enjoyed it. That was a pretty good conversations. Actually, I'd actually like to do it again sometime. And shout out just to anyone who wants to play Battlefield 3 with me, because I've just really started playing it, and it'd be cool to find some new people to play with. Thanks,
three
guys.
of you?
And I've been Krazak. I've been Krazak, your lovable host, as always. You
You're a
can reach...
terrible host, mate.
Thanks, mate. You can reach ScotchGaming at www.facebook.com/ScotchGaming podcast, or you can find the show on our YouTube or our Twitch, www.twitch.tv/Krazak. This has been episode 15. I thought it was pretty good. We'll see
Already
you again.
more episodes than Star Wars.
Exactly. We'll see you again next week. We're out of here. Here goes our outro when I can ever get it up. If I oh. There we go.
I'm a walrus. Fuck the throat.
Laters, fuckers.